Hello, hi, and welcome to EmpathicFire. I am your reader, Jay. This is going to be a general reading for Virgo in February 2021. What is going on, Virgo? How are you guys doing? I hope that you are doing well. All right, guys, welcome to February, wherever you are in the world. Virgo, I hope you're safe, happy, healthy, and secure at this time. Please continue to take very good care of yourselves and people that you know and love, even a perfect stranger on the street. At this time, Virgo, I believe the world needs a lot more care, a lot more compassion, a lot more good action and intentions, kind actions and intentions. So where you can, when you can, I would encourage you to err on the side of those things and be in alignment with those things. If you don't want to, that's perfectly your choice, but that's my encouragement. That's my well wish for you and everybody else in this world, okay? I don't want to get into that too much, but I think you get the gist of what I mean and why I'm saying it at this time, okay? Virgo, let's get into this. This is your overview for February. We're going to start with these three base cards. We're going to do a little bit interpreting of those cards, and then we're going to get an additional 3 cards for a total of 6 for your main message. And then we're going to also talk about a potential outcome and an overall energy as well. If you want the timestamp for when that actually begins, it's in the description box down below. If you want to get information on how to purchase a personal reading with me, you'll find it down below as well. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, I've neglected it for about a month or so, maybe more. I will be getting back into posting over there. Had to unplug for a while from tarot in some form or fashion, and so I did that unofficially with the Instagram account. But anyway, if you want to follow me, link for it is down below as well. All right, guys, let's get into it. Let's see what's going on with the first half of your reading, the first half of your message, okay? So you had the Ace of Swords come out first, Ace of Swords there, followed by the Star card, Major Arcana for, excuse me, Aquarius. You could be dealing with an Aquarius, you don't have to be, and then the Ace of Cups. Interesting. All right, so let's see what we're going to get out of these first 3 cards for you guys, okay? Not Leo, I just did Leo, my apologies, Virgo. Slip of the tongue, though, you might be dealing with a Leo unofficially or officially, I don't know. Anyway. Strangely, Virgo, and this isn't, I don't know that this is the full message, but I feel like someone's caught between a choice. And that's not a typical, at least individually, I don't think those cards, any of them really speak to necessarily choice. But this woman who's sitting on this crescent here, or sitting on this, whatever it is, in the star energy is between what feels like truth, clarity, honesty, and possibly indulgence or fantasy, illusion, and that is just illustratively what I'm seeing. That's not the innate message of any of those cards, I don't think. And I'm not sure that we're going to explore it much further, but for someone in your life, or you, specifically Virgo, that could be what's going on. Someone has a choice between stark reality and perpetuated fantasy. That's what that feels like, okay? Okay, I could see that. Based on just like some of my own understandings of where we are in terms of human history or celestial history, right? Aquarius, we're in the age of Aquarius right now, and Aquarius is an air sign that does often speak very truthfully, honestly, and starkly about things, is very matter of fact. And we're leaving age of Pisces, water energy, cups energy, which to some degrees is not the totality of what the age of Pisces was about, but it was a fantasy. It was about sort of romanticizing reality, or not facing reality, or like a masquerade, meaning there was some pretense involved, there was some illusion involved, like a masquerade ball is an illusion, you know. And that's not all of what happened in the age of Pisces or what we got out of it, but that's sort of, again, like a visual takeaway that I'm getting here. So let's see what else comes through here. It could be also, okay, here we go. Here's the message. Here's the message. I'm sensing that through self-reflection, healing, or putting energy and effort towards that, or focus on that in some aspect of your life. And I'm going to address this as Virgo. It's a general reading. It can apply to someone who's not a Virgo. It can be vice versa. It's a general. If I mention any zodiac sign that's not you, take it with a grain of salt. And if I mention any genders, don't think when I say he, it doesn't always have to be assigned to a male. It can be assigned to a female. So it's all open. It's all general. Reinterpret as you wish, okay? So what I'm sensing though here is that someone has spent some time in reflection, spent some time alone, really been focused on watering their own garden and tending to their own needs, and figuring things out on their own, whether that be manifested or seen in someone being dedicated to like a new hobby, or more specifically a new line of study. Like someone could have been wanting to learn a language and they learned a language, or learn how to code and so now they know how to code. And even though that serves a very practical outcome, and it leads to some type of practical skill, it is also sort of a spiritual act in investing in yourself, investing in your knowledge, investing in your education, or enhancing your skills. That has some tie to spiritual, like upliftment, or feeling uplifted. Feeling uplifted. Thank you. Upliftment. Anyway, so someone really got more than just practical skills out of dedicating themselves to a new task, a new hobby, a class, a course, something like that, okay? Somebody possibly literally dedicated themselves to their garden, and they've grown something. And that is, you literally grew eggplants or tomatoes or whatever it is. I don't garden, so I don't even know if those are in season. But you literally grew something, and that sort of is an allegory or a metaphor for what you grew inside of yourself. I hope that makes sense to you. If it's not true, it's someone that you're dealing with that feels that way, okay? And this has been a marriage of the practical, the logical, the very rational with the very emotional, sentimental, sensitive side of this person. This could be someone, and I mean, Aquarian energy can be that. It, like I said before, it can be highly rational, intellectual, but then one of the aspects of Aquarius is still having a compassionate heart, having empathy and emphasis on other people and their wellness or their contentment or their ability to be recognized and heard in a situation or in the world at large. And that is kind of reflected in the community at large, the world community, the national community, the state or local country, whatever, this reading is open to anybody in the world. So it's not just here in North America that this story would apply. It applies to everybody anywhere. So the unrest or the the reckoning that's going on in terms of social justice, in terms of political landscapes and all that kind of stuff, it's reflective of this polarization or this push and pull, this tug of war that someone might be feeling on a personal level. Someone might feel or be very either still now or at a previous point was not sure how to find the balance between their rational life, their rational personality, the side of themselves that only wants to deal in facts and figures, versus their emotional self, which deals clearly with emotions and sentiment, not something that you can point to in a textbook or point to in a law book or point to with rules and regulations, and that's why we have rhyme and reason to it. Often, some people feel, emotions come without any explanation or without any rationale, right? And so these two things, in my opinion, sometimes naturally conflict. And that could be how you or someone else felt for a long time. But because of this whole cultivating that happens in the star energy, the star is a cultivator, the star is a healer, the star is that time that we take to go inside, reflect, study the problem, find solutions, find peace after chaos, find, how those two things can coexist in the same world at the same time, because they do, right? They absolutely do. Chaos and peace exist at the same time. Fight me on it. Go ahead. I don't care. But that's sort of like the revelation is we can make something grow from that, or we can create something out of these polarities or out of these seemingly opposite perspectives or traits within ourselves, right? So again, someone who maybe got into a hobby, learned a new skill that they didn't think they could learn. Maybe that was it. Maybe this is someone who's later in their life, they always wanted to learn how to speak Mandarin or learn how to speak French, and they're retired now, or they were sent, home from work, or they're working from home, or whatever. And 2020 gave people a lot more time on their hands to do a lot more things with their idle time. Some people used it in a good way. Some people used it in a not so good way. Okay. It's your opinion of what I mean, or what you could, whatever. It's open to interpretation. But so someone here has utilized their downtime and enhanced themselves, and they see, or they're trying to connect how me growing fruits in the garden or veggies in the garden, whatever, me learning sign language, me, tutoring people or doing this over here and enriching myself or enriching other people, how can that further be replicated? How can we expand on that? How can we consistently make practical married to the emotional? And that could be wanting to know how I do that with myself on a consistent basis. How do I do that with my relationships, my personal relationships with my family and my friends? How do I do that professionally? And then again, expanding bigger, out, more, or wider. That's Aquarius, the wider perspective, the global, if not cosmic perspective of how do we get something out of marrying these two things that don't seem to work. Now, in a more bringing it back to Earth, because I think that's where Virgo would like to be anyway. Most of you guys, this is a little too. It's like I feel if this is your energy, if this is you, Virgo, this is unknown territory. You're like, what? I've never been here before, unexplored. Never felt this way before, never thought of things in this way before, never connected dots in the way that you're connecting dots right now, or you're dealing with someone who's like this and you look at them and you're like, what's wrong with you? What planet are you from? And, star card Aquarius is an alien. I'm not saying they are aliens. I'm not saying Aquariuses are aliens. But again, this outlook of Aquarius is very far reaching. Again, the vision, the literal perspective, the horizon that Aquarius can see out of all the zodiacs is possibly the biggest, the widest, the hugest. They're out of this world. Okay. And maybe that's how you feel about this person. If it's not you, you might feel this person is out of this world. You might like that. You might not like that. I don't know how you feel about this person or how you would react to them. But there is sort of this like, I've never met somebody like this, or I've never thought of things in this way, and this person has come in and we're friends, or we're getting to know each other, or maybe this is someone you've known for a long time, but this is how they're speaking now, and you're just like flabbergasted. Or this is you're surprising yourself, you're shocking yourself, you are maybe even confusing yourself, I don't know. All right, so I hope that makes sense to you. That's a little muddied, if I'm honest, Virgo. It's a little high, not falutin. It's like, it's a little high concept. And I'm not sure that I did the best job of explaining it, so I apologize about that. But let's press on. Let's see what else is happening here. So what else can you tell me regarding this situation, regarding this person in Virgo's life, regarding this storyline so far for February? What else can you tell me for Virgo in February 2021? No. There it is. All right. 2 more, please. What else can you... Oh, they're like boom, boom. Okay. So, all face down, so that's interesting. A little secretive, perhaps. 7 of Pentacles in reverse. Knight of Cups. And the 2 of Cups. All right. So, in some of your cases, it's definitely not you, and it's someone that you're dealing with, and you're like, who is this person? Maybe in your mind, Virgo, they're a little kooky. I gotta be honest. You might think they're a little... I'm not a great whistler, but I hope you know what I mean. So 7 of Pentacles in reverse. Knight of Cups, water sign energy, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. You may be dealing with a water sign. You don't have to be. And the 2 of Cups. Oh, we're not done. Let me get you... I always forget. Let me get you the outcome. I didn't truly ask, or I wasn't really ready, so we're not going to take 3 cards for your outcome. No way, Jose. But let's get you an outcome for this and an overall energy. What's the outcome of this situation? Potential outcome of the situation for Virgo, please. Show me. And they're like, you're going to take 3. Am I? Another 3 came out. That's a lot. I've never done a 3-card outcome. Ever. Ever. What am I doing with this? So let's figure this out. What am I doing with this? I don't even know what it is besides the 4 of Wands on top. So how do you want me to do this? I can't shake this 3. I can't shake this 3. Oh my gosh. It's 3. We're going to talk about 3 damn cards in your outcome. That's ridiculous. And only in a retrograde, I think I would allow it. This is a Mercury retrograde, so I'm going to allow it because that's not what is regular. That's not typical. Jay does not do that. Maybe 2, but 3, count yourself special, count yourselves lucky. We're going to be here a minute. Well, I don't want us to be, so let's motor on here. So I already showed you these cards. So what else is happening here? I can't believe that. 3 cards. That's crazy. So this person could be your child. Knight of Cups. Okay, so you might have an Aquarius child or a water sign child. You don't have to be. And knights aren't children, but they are younger energies, teenage energies, and adolescent energies, young adult energies. But it doesn't mean that your child is in that age range. Your child literally could be 4 years old and talking this kind of stuff, and you're like, what? Or your kid could be, 42 and this is how they're speaking, and you're like, huh, where did this come from? The physical age of the person isn't really relative, but they show up in this teenager, again, adolescent energy where they're on their way to forming some type of solid identity. Or this could be you. It doesn't have to be anybody else. This doesn't have to be your kid. It could be your partner, could be your friend, could be your coworker, could be whoever, but whoever this person is, they show up in this energy that's on its way to being more developed, if not fully developed, right? And solidified and more mature than they are now. It's still a work in progress. And I think this person is framed or poised or is on this path seeking a richer sense of self, a more fuller picture of who they are. This is someone who wants to know themselves, and they don't know themselves yet. Or the ways in which they've always known themselves is kind of being rewritten. It's up for review, or it's taking on new information and then trying to really utilize that information, right? Trying to, again, okay, excuse me. If you just learned a foreign language, right? Let's say where I live, like a very probably uncommon language where I live might be, God, what could it be? Actually, where I live, there's a lot of languages. There's a lot of language communities where I live. I'm trying to pick something. Oh God, I can't think of anything. But let's say where you live, because where I live, there's tons of languages here. But let's say where you live. I don't know where you live, but let's say you lived, quote unquote, in the middle of nowhere, and you went ahead and learned Mandarin or Cantonese or Vietnamese or something like that. There's plenty of places on Earth where learning and knowing those languages is quite valuable. But where you specifically live, the population and the communities that you're surrounded by, there isn't much quote unquote need or demand to have that knowledge, right? So it's sort of like this, well, now that I have this skill set, that I have this knowledge, how can I apply it? I'm so excited. Knights are usually excited. They're very fervent. They're very enthusiastic, right? So you've got this new knowledge, but how can I apply it? How can I utilize it in my life? How can I make use of it? How can I help people? The Aquarian energy, the altruistic energy that Aquarius embodies a lot of times. So how can I use this power, this skill, this knowledge for good, for greatness, to help other people? So where you are, maybe you find locally in the municipality that there's a need for a translator or an interpreter or something like that. Or there's a company that needs, maybe they publish and they need their works translated into another language. You're like, oh my God, I just learned Mandarin, or I don't know the levels of it. And I don't know, like, if you can be, you can study a language and get certified or degrees in it, right? Whatever. You now have the knowledge that they need or the skill that they need. And so if I translate books or other texts and that helps people, oh, my brother was just telling me a story about this. And I don't know that it's relative to a Virgo, but this is how it is. It's like if I can just help one person. So he was telling me about, I think it was a congressman or a representative or something like that, or somebody in a political campaign. And when it came to getting out the vote, pushing the vote out and getting people registered and all this other kind of stuff, this person was working in a district similar to what I was saying, where there was a high Asian population and they didn't speak English that well, or there was, miscommunication. And there was concern over, it came to this person's knowledge, the person that worked for the campaign. Oh, the reason these people don't vote is because they can't read the ballot, or when they go, they're afraid that no one will be able to understand them, so they choose not to vote. And they haven't ever voted in their lives, even though they've been a citizen of this country for 20, 30 years, something like that. So upon hearing this person working the campaign went out and studied this other person's native language so that they could take them on the day to register to vote, or on the day to actually go about casting their ballot. They took them and explained to them what was written on the page, because wherever they lived in their jurisdiction, there was no translation provided. So you see what I mean? There's like this, I have this ability, this skill. How do I help other people with what I can do? That is the concern of this person. I like that. That's very noble, right? It doesn't have to be specifically, surrounding language. It doesn't have to be, again, a teenager who's thinking these ways, or your child who's thinking these ways. But there's something about practicality, on paper, a discernible, marketable skill that's very business oriented, that's very high rationale, that's very much speaking to suddenly all the words went out of my damn head. What was that about? That's like not necessarily about a resume builder or something that you can utilize or use to kind of promote yourself, but it is erring on that side of intellect, something that you've smartly, intellectually cultivated for yourself, and then plugging it back into some type of compassionate action or some type of compassionate endeavor, particularly affecting a community that you're a member of, or that you want to work with, or even one particular person. I don't know. So that's what I see here from this Knight of Cups. This person wants to do good things, wants to use whatever they can, whatever innate skills that they have or that they have recently acquired, and how do I help other people with it? Now, the bump in the road is, as much as I just told you that very long detail of a story of a campaign person finding success in their endeavor, someone here hasn't quite put it all together yet. And it could be you. I could be talking about you, Virgo, but in many of your cases, this is someone that you know. This is someone that you are friends with, you're related to. In some of your cases, you're dating this person or you want to date this person, whatever. But whoever is seeking to be an agent of goodness doesn't know how to do it yet. Seven of Pentacles reversed. They might lack the resources necessary to make it happen. So somebody who has a brilliant idea on how to impact a community in need doesn't know how to fundraise, right? They don't know how to source materials. Like if they want to, I don't know, help local kids who are home from school, who don't have access to the internet, have access to the internet or access to tablets and laptops and stuff like that. They don't know how to work with vendors or work with computer companies. You know, they don't know how to source the materials needed at discount or through, you know what I mean? Like they haven't connected the practical steps on how to get it done. They might be in the process of doing this. Or if it's a younger person in particular, they might be frustrated in certain limitations. Like this could be a 10-year-old who has a brilliant idea, but they're 10. So they can't, well, maybe they can, I don't know the rules and the regulations or the expectations, but they can't most of the time do it all on their own. They need the help of their parents, of you, Virgo. So this is your 10-year-old going, I have a good idea on how to save the planet. Help me save the planet. And you're like, I got meetings until 2. It's got to wait. You know what I mean? So this is someone who's frustrated in their inability to really get the show on the road, right? So yeah, if it's not a young person, it's still, again, someone who has the good intention, and maybe it's because they're not fully able to get these two energies aligned. And I'll go back to this just for a second. These are two aces, and that could be also why the Seven of Pentacles has come in the reverse. Aces speak to opportunities, right? They speak to chances. They speak to potentiality. So someone desires potential on either side of them, meaning surrounding them. They want it. It's all they think about. It's what's consuming their waking thoughts, right? But it hasn't come yet, or it's not coming into fruition the way they thought it would, right? As much as I talked about someone possibly planting seeds in a garden and watching them flourish and feeling proud, there might be a portion of the garden that never sprouted, and they're very frustrated. How come that patch in my garden never sprouted? It really frustrates me. So there is sort of this feeling of things not being offered completely, or opportunities showing up at all, or there's a missing component. The total package didn't come the way they thought it would come. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Now, final card, because we got a lot to talk about in that outcome. Jesus. The final card in your main message is the Two of Cups. So on its face, for some of you, this is a soulmate relationship. And this is the first time I'm saying soulmate out of this series. You're the 6th sign I'm reading. But the caveat still remains, Virgo. Soulmates do not have to be romantic partners, and soulmates do not always have to be cookie cutter, sprinkles and rainbows, sunshine and lollipops, you know? Meaning, soulmate relationships are not, especially now that we're in this new paradigm of the age of Aquarius, are not always going to be, you know, the most positive or nice experience in our lives. It's not to say it's okay. It's not to say that if you are experiencing dissatisfaction in your connection with this soulmate, or a rough time, a rough go of it, depending on what rough time means in the situation, okay, the nuance of that. But there is certainly this tempered expectation that I would encourage people to have when it comes to working with or being aligned with and aware of your soulmates. You know, it doesn't always come in the package you think it's going to come in, but here it is, the soulmate package. Okay? Amazon delivered it. It's a 1 ounce or 1.2 ounce thing, and they put it in a box that's 6x6 or something like that. It's like, here's a big box, but inside is this tiny little thing. What a waste of cardboard, right? And I'm not saying that your soulmate is a waste of space or anything like that, but you get what I mean? It's like you see a big box, you're expecting something huge in it. Soulmate, that's a big box, but what's inside might be very, oh, that's it. Shake the box while it's upside down. That's all that was in this big ass box. That's it. But anyway, 2 of Cups. So regardless of what type of relationship, romantic, family, friend, whatever, there is a bond that you have with this person. You like them. You enjoy them. You guys make, crazy science together. Shout out to Orphan Black. If you know the show, it's amazing. If you don't, you should watch. But there's this, let's make crazy science together. Let's do something together. And it doesn't have to be necessarily it's both of our idea we both share in the creation of this thing. Like I said before, this could be your kid has an amazing idea, your kid has a certain trajectory that they want to walk on or path that they want to follow, something like that. And it's not that you have to walk with them, it's not that you have to do it as their co-partner. You could be the supporter of your child at this time. Does that make sense? It doesn't have to be we do it as like co-founders or something like that. Do you get me? Anything else with the 2 of Cups? Because I feel like that's pretty straightforward. If it's a love thing, I gotta be honest, you don't recognize it as a love thing, or they don't. In some of your cases, it's very much not on your mind or their mind, or both of your minds, or something like that. And it might not ever be this hugely romantic thing, because that's more Age of Pisces. Age of Aquarius is very, very much less romantic. Not to say it's not romantic at all, but it's a lot less emphasized, okay? So your pairing, your matching might not be, the thing that rom-coms are made of. It could be the thing that, marriages of 80 years are made of. Blood, sweat, and tears, baby. Now, let's get into this very thick outcome that you have. 4 of Wands. Chariot, major arcana for Cancer. Could be dealing with a Cancer, but you don't have to be. And 9 of Swords. Kind of what I was saying just a moment ago. You could have something very stable, very secure, very foundational in your life with this person, or with this next phase of your life or development in this relationship. Again, it doesn't have to be a romantic partner. Your soulmate could be literally your kid. And so something is brewing here. Something is setting up, like these 2 women. It's sort of like they're setting up those 4 posts there, and they're creating something. So it's happening. It's developing. And possibly it's developing quite quickly, or it's developing once you or them or both of you make more decisive decisions or clear-minded decisions. Chariot is about picking a direction, or finally getting the horses or sphinxes or whatever these 2 contraptions are to move in one solid direction, left or right. And that comes after we find some way to get these very unlike-minded people or perspectives, again, to agree, to become in alignment with one another, so that a smooth path, not a smooth path, but the motion, the moving of the chariot can be smooth. You know what I mean? 2 horses running in opposite directions, that's not good. You need them to work with each other, to flow and be in step with each other. You get what I mean? So that could be that someone on their own has to be in alignment with themselves. And I think that's kind of what we're talking about with the star card being back there in your main reading. Or we're talking about 2 people getting on the same page, okay, and working together to build something. And there's sort of a nightmarish vibe about it for some reason. Possibly it's taken a long time to get to this point, or someone could be a little haunted, is what they're telling me. Haunted by previous bad thoughts. What does that mean, previous bad thoughts? Oh, like a bad outlook. Like someone might have like a lot of pessimism in the situation, and they're not necessarily buying fully into the potentiality of what this is. Whether that be you or someone else, I don't know. It could also be just stress. This whole creation, this whole, setting up a foundation and putting legs up under something and getting something set into motion can just be totally stressful, is what that feels like, okay? So that's the outcome. I did it! I talked very quickly about 3 separate cards. That's a record. Gotta tell you. And the overall energy for you guys is the World card, secondary major for Capricorn, also associated with the fixed signs, so Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. That's 2 times for Aquarius, so if that hits for you, take it to the bank. If not, don't worry about it. World card. Yeah. Simultaneous endings, as well as new beginnings. So as one door closes, another opens, and all that good stuff. Virgo, I think the gears here on that wheel behind her, the gears on the wheel, the gear behind her, it's a gear, damn it, is giving me this idea of mechanical, is giving me this idea of like clockwork and things tick, 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 and ticking along as like clockwork, and like it's precision, it's precise, right? Clockworks and timepieces, right? And it feels like, okay, here we go. Remember before I told you that you feel about yourself, or you feel about whoever this person, the main person in the story here, you feel they're a little kooky. You feel they're a little, coming out of left field. You feel that they're a little off or bizarre or something like that. And it's a new sensation, or you've never met someone who talked like this. Or this person now is talking in such odd ways, or they're presenting information to you that you're unfamiliar with, and they're very impassioned, but at the same time they're also kind of sporadic and all these things, and generally confusing. Think of, if you can, if not, Google a picture of what the inner workings of a watch is. Like how there's tiny gears, and then there's larger gears, and there's pins, and there's little spindle pieces. And when you look at it, it's very confusing. It's very precise, because it's performing a function, right? To tell time, to get the hands on the face of the watch to move, and all that other kind of stuff. It's all purposely designed that way. But when you see it, it's very busy. It's very clustered looking. Do you get what I mean? So as much as there's a reason, a purpose to this, as it is with a watch, the purpose of a watch is to tell time, is to keep people on track, to allow people to schedule their day properly. You turn your wrist over, all right, so it's 10 a.m., it's time to do this, you know what I mean? All of that serves a purpose, but the inner workings of what it means to say it's 10 o'clock on your wrist, it's crazy looking back there, the inside of a watch, the inside of a clock. Do you get what I mean? So I think that's what's happening here. This on the inside is clustery, and there's little pieces that, work over here, and they spin really fast, and there's another setup over here, and it only spins like every so often. You know what I mean? And it is all orchestrated and designed to serve a purpose. That makes sense because this is the World card, again, tied to Capricorn, tied to Saturn. Saturn is about purpose. It is about performing a certain role or fulfilling a certain duty, right? And being responsible. And it's also about being taskmaster, and also about karmic lessons and things like that, okay? So the confused, befuddled feeling that you have is just a symptom or a part of the design that serves some bigger purpose. I hope that makes sense to you. Virgo, this was a very interesting reading for me to do for you, because I don't think I've ever done a reading like this for you. I could be wrong. I've done so many for you guys. I don't know. But I haven't done one like this for you recently, I don't think. Anyway, that's your reading. If you liked it, like button is down below. Hit that for me. If you want to leave a comment, let me know how this resonated in your life. I would appreciate that. I always love reading your guys' comments. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell. Virgo, I'm going to be back in a few weeks to do your mid-February reading. You have that to look forward to. If you want to check out your other readings that I've done for your playlist so far, make sure you check out Virgo 2021, 2020, 2019, 2018, whatever year you want to look at, whatever reading you want to look at, do so. They're all there for you guys to peruse. And if you want to get at me for a personal reading, information is down in the description box below, okay? Virgo, I appreciate you all so much for watching this video. Take care. Bye.